It is time to open another book and yarn box. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And welcome to today's vlog where we are breaking open this Woolberry Fiber Co. Book Society box. If you're not familiar with these boxes, Bethany of Woolberry Fiber Co. has curated a mystery package based on a book that she loves, containing a book, a skein of yarn, and a couple other little goodies inspired by that book. As you open up the package and read through the book, you'll be prompted to, on certain pages, open various parts of this package. So it's kind of like an advent or countdown style box opening where everything's a mystery and you get to open things as you go along, which is so fun. Like I said, it's a mystery, so I have no idea what the box is. I don't know what the yarn inspiration is going to look like. It's all a mystery and all really fun, and I have loved doing these boxes in the past. I have lots of videos like this on my channel if you are interested in this type of content. Let's jump into this box and see what book we have. All right, let's open up. Oh my gosh, what is going on? All right. Well, ooh, what's in here? Oh my goodness. Cute. It's not packaged. I wonder if there's something inside it. On page 43 is this super cute tiffin case. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. Okay. I don't know if anything's inside it, but we'll set that aside. We've got a cute little page 282. Page 318 for the yarn. We have to wait a long time for that one. Page 138. Look at that cute bookmark. Oh my goodness. That's adorable. We'll open the book in just a minute. So here's everything included in this box. Let's open up this book and see what it is. This is a little bit belated of an opening. This is the February box, hence like the red and the hearts and whatnot. But I think I can enjoy a romance any time of year. So we're opening it now. Let's see what book this is. I've tried really hard to avoid spoilers, so I do not know what book we have. Hopefully it's a book I do not own already. Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of this book. It's called Errands and Espionage by Sam Chida. Interesting. Oh, her last name is pronounced Cheetah. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. Let me read about this book. Okay, this sounds so fun. So Gabby Green is a housewife. She is entrenched in the chaos of motherhood when FBI agents come to her door and ask her to become a secret agent. She apparently looks really similar to an agent that just died, and so she needs to kind of step in and be the spy. So kind of interesting. I'm really excited to see where this is going. It also mentions a handsome James Bond type who has secrets of his own. So clearly that's who the love interest is in this book. I am really excited to see how this is going to go. So we're going to get started on this. This book is 342 pages. I wonder if there would be a sequel, maybe. Let me know if you've read this book before or have heard of this author. This is totally new for me, which I think is so fun and such an awesome way for me as a reader and someone who loves yarn to not only combine my love of reading and knitting and crocheting, but also the fact that I can find new to me authors and new to me books so that I can explore a little bit more outside of what maybe I'm hearing about on the internet. So I can branch out a little bit more. So I'm excited to jump right in. We'll learn about this book and this author maybe later on in this video. But I have some reading to do before I even get to appreciate these awesome goodies. So let's get started. I've got my book blanket that I made using the Book Society boxes, I guess last year, so the end of 2023 through most of 2024. There were 4 skeins of yarn in each of those 4 seasonal boxes. So 16 skeins of yarn. I bought some Knit Pick Stroll DK, maybe, in just like their bare colorway, the undyed colorway, to be able to join all my squares together. I love it. It's my Astrid blanket. It has seen some wear and tear, but it's getting some good love.
nice and cozy right now. The air conditioning in our room is just a little too cold for me. But right now I am 44 pages in. So I've gotten to the point where I can open our first package. But let me give you a rundown on this book. I definitely think if you are a fan of Finley Donovan that you might really like this book. Though right now, Gabby feels a little bit more capable and less chaotic than Finley does in Finley's books. And I think part of that is because, I think I said FBI earlier, the CIA is reaching out to her. They're going to do a crash course, train her so that she can step into the role that this Agent Dagger had before Agent Dagger was taken out by an unknown source. She's still a bit of a mess because she's a stay-at-home mom, recently divorced, now has to figure out how to go back to work even though she doesn't have an updated resume. And so she's just kind of in a tough spot financially, figuring herself out. Where does she go from here, kind of a thing. And with kids, things are just chaotic in general. So there's still some of that funny, chaotic nature in this book, but a little bit less ridiculous so far. At least she's getting trained, hopefully. So she's met the CIA, she's agreed to work for them, and they said they're going to train her. They started briefing her on her role. They said that her starting salary is only $80,000, which feels a little bit low. I mean, that is plenty of money in the US, and it is way more than she would get if she was, you know, trying to sell like Avon or Tupperware or whatever that she jokes about. But that also feels like not enough money if you're risking your life. But what do I know? I don't work for the CIA, but $80,000 is a significant amount of money, and definitely more than she can make doing the, you know, department or retail style jobs that she could potentially do with nothing else on her resume. I'm also not surprised that she is still taking this job, even with all the considerations. She is very adverse to danger, so I wonder how that's going to play out as we see more from her. But first, let's open our first package, which is, you know, not really packaged anyway. This is a stainless steel tiffin. Danica Heirloom, I think, is the company. It says originally used to pack up a homemade meal and transport it through the busy streets of Mumbai or Delhi. This tiffin is made up of 3 stainless steel containers stacked together. It's super cute, way cuter than any tiffin I've ever seen in my life. So I love that. I actually don't have one of these, which is surprising. I've thought about buying one, but I've never been super inspired, and I usually just use Tupperware for my stuff, but I'm gonna have to use this. So we've got our small container, our next size, and then our bottom. Cute, cute. This would be honestly perfect for having like rice, meat, and veggie or something. The only problem is, because it's metal, you can't necessarily heat it up like this. So it's good for packing a hot meal that you're gonna eat pretty quick. Kind of more of like in the thermos realm, though I don't know how fast it would dissipate heat. But it is super cute. And if you have a container to then warm it up in, if you need to do that in the microwave, or if you're eating something that's okay cold, then I think that this would still work really well. And it's so cute. Like, oh my goodness. Adorable. Gabby's gonna need to pack a lunch to her new job in the office. So they're gonna do this rundown for her, trying to bring her up to speed on this case and trying to help her blend in and act like Agent Dagger, who she apparently looks a lot alike according to facial recognition. She's gonna be the personal assistant to the CEO, who is, how did they say it? He's the puppet for some like Russian mob boss kind of figure. So gotta keep reading and find out more. I don't think we open another package until we're in the like 100 plus pages. So we have a little ways before I'll update you again. Hello, it's been a minute since I have even read this book, but I am getting back into it. I just came off of 3 night shifts in a row, so I am recovering today is the goal. I did read a little bit while I was at work, though I was having a hard time staying awake. So I didn't get through as much, but I'm right about to the point where Gabby is going to start her job infiltrating this office as an executive assistant to this big bad guy who's involved with the mafia, right? So we have done her like 2 or 3 days of training, like very, very minimal. I mean, I know that there's a tight deadline for her to get into the swing of things. I did say at the beginning that she seemed more put together, a character I could get behind a little bit more than Finley Donovan, like not quite as ridiculous. That's kind of changed. With her training, she just spent a couple days, right? She was doing really unsafe things. And I think what gets me is that she's actually a very, very anxious person where she is worried about touching a gun and then she's being very uncareful with the gun. And so that just does not make sense in my brain. And that's just one example of how she is so nervous about potential consequences, and yet she's being very reckless and not careful at all in what she's doing. So that dichotomy is not working for me in her character, and just in general, I don't really like the whole ridiculous amateur detective, amateur spy that is bumbling around and happens to luck out on things working out. I'm just not as much a fan of that. I want some kind of competencies. I'm not sure how I feel about her, but she just had a couple of training days with Marcus. I'm getting vibes that he's going to be a love interest. We'll see how that goes because it's all very platonic and surface level right now. She's just getting her training, getting ready to be a spy right now. So since I have some time, I want to read a little bit more and get to the next package, which is this cute little bundle, page 138. So I've got maybe like 40, 50 pages to go. So definitely some that I can do in one sitting. I have no idea what this is. It feels soft in some spots and hard in others. And I don't know if that softness is just wrapping. Maybe it's something a little bit more on the fragile side. It is mini skein sized, but I don't think it's a mini skein. I really have no idea what it is. So let's read on and find out. Stop. She's listening to James Bond music while she's driving her car around. Not subtle. Not subtle at all. Surprisingly, Gabby is really good with people. She is really good at memorizing. Like, she studied the information that she got from the EOD, and she knows everyone in her office and has been able to like jump in and really get to know everyone. Very interesting. I guess that's her skill, or, you know, what she's really good at is working with people and remembering things and kind of integrating herself in. I like that she does have some good qualities, that she's not totally incompetent. That does make it a little bit better for me. She got kidnapped. Oh my gosh, I did not see that happening this early on in the story. Wow. More Russian mobsters. Okay, page 138. Something that I like about Yarnatius's book boxes is that on the packages with the page number, there's also a little phrase that goes with whatever's in the package. So you have a little, I guess, hint at what it is. This one has no hint. So I don't know what's on page 138 that is inspiring this, so that'll be kind of cool. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on in this book. She got kidnapped. Apparently, Darcy was a double agent. Double agent might not be quite right, but she was also working with some Russian mobsters, but not related to the guy who is the target of the EOD, if that makes sense. I don't know how all these Russian guys are related, but those are two separate instances, I guess. So sounds like Darcy was just trying to make some money on the side, you know, killing two birds with one stone kind of idea. I will say one thing that really, really bothered me as a nurse is Gabby mentioned how like she went into like a fight or flight response but she specifically said her parasympathetic nervous system. Can I find the page? Because that really bothered me. I can't find the page, but Gabby specifically mentions the parasympathetic nervous system in her fight or flight response. And that's wrong. It is your sympathetic nervous system because your body is sympathetic towards you and your horrible situation. And so your body takes over that fight or flight response. Your parasympathetic nervous system is when you have increased blood flow to like your gut and you kind of like calm down. So it's part of your like physical body relaxing. That really bothered me because that was not a hard thing for someone to look up and find out. Like, I don't know why that's wrong. It's fine. It's whatever. It's not actually a big deal. Just a big typo in the medical sense. I think that's one of my pet peeves is reading books and you can tell that the author doesn't have a medical background and then they throw things in and you're just like, that's not how it works. But I'm excited to see where things go from here since now Gabby's been threatened by the mob because she needs to help them out. So she's undercover with them. They still think she's Darcy. And then she's working for the EOD trying to get them information about Kramer and Kramer's office and the like money laundering, etc. that they're doing while she's trying to manage her household and like she's got a new job. We haven't seen a lot from the kids' perspective, but this is her first time working outside the home in like 14 years, I think. And so that's a big change for the whole family. The kids are being really chill about it, but I don't know if that's going to blow up for her. Anyway, I'm interested to see where all of these different plot points go and how everything kind of ties together. But let's open this package. All right. Again, I have no idea what it is. It's got bubble wrap, so that was the softness I was feeling. And it smells really good. Is this a bath bomb? Oh, this is a candle. It's got a little wick, but it's orange. This cute little like mandarin orange style. It is very fragrant, so would I want to light this? I don't know if I have like a candle stand I could put this on so that it wouldn't get wax all over the place. It smells really good though. Oh, and this connects with the story because she talks about orange trees next door. Neighbors have some orange trees. I can't remember where this takes place. Maybe I'll get reminded. I'm going to come back to this and start reading more in a little bit. Maybe this evening I'll get to read some, or maybe tomorrow. But I really want to work through this book. We are almost halfway now, and I just want to knock it out. I am ready to be done with this book. It's been lingering for a while. I've got lots of random little footage snippets for all sorts of videos on my phone that I just need to organize and put some videos out and kind of catch up on things. So I can't do that until I finish this book. So we're going to have some fun and just enjoy a silly, goofy time with Gabby Green. Aw, Marcus took lunch to her son. That's cool because he forgot it. So cute. Oh my gosh. So she got her friend Justin, who is a party planner, to plan this soiree where they're going to see the mob boss. So Justin had no idea. So he made the theme mob bosses, and there's a password, Capone, and everything at a speakeasy. That is hilarious. Justin had sent the actual mafia invitations to a mob-themed party with the suggestion to take a break from racketeering, channel your inner Capone, wear a hat, fake guns only. I did not see that coming. I lucked out, and for this last section, it was really long to read in here. I was able to get the audiobook from my library. So I spent a lot of time listening on an hour drive to work, and from work got so much listening done. So I am ready to open the next package. And I just really want to open a package. And so after I open the package, then I'll talk to you more about what happened in this last section of the book. We are now on page 282. Well, technically we're on page 284 because that is the beginning of the next chapter. 282 is the page for this thing. It makes me think of like makeup, like a little box of like lipstick or something. I have no idea what it's gonna be, so let's find out. I was right. This is You Star Liquid Lips Matte Long Lasting Color Rich Fluid Lipstick. Oh, fun. I don't buy a lot of makeup. Can you tell? I'm recovering from working and I'm beautiful without makeup. It's fine. I do like putting on makeup sometimes. Cruelty-free and vegan. Love that. Should we try this on right now? You know what? I'm actually about to take a shower, get dressed in some nicer clothes because right now I'm just wearing sweats, and then go to an event this evening. And so maybe we'll put this on as part of my makeup for that event. So I'm going to table this and we're going to put it on. I wonder if it's like this red that's got like a tinge of purple plummy in it. I wonder what the color is. Oh, here we go. Spicy red. Fun. Now that we've opened that, that was a fun little surprise. I don't think we've gotten any makeup type products in boxes from Woolberry Fabric Co before. So that's something different. So I already mentioned, this totally caught me off guard, but the fact that, is it Justin, her best friend, plans a mob party for these mobsters without realizing they're mobsters. Just so funny and caught me totally off guard. I thought it was hilarious. So we've already talked about that, but the general like ridiculousness, things falling apart nature of this book is definitely amping up as we're getting closer and closer to this party. For one thing, Gabby's trying to figure out who this mole is that's helping Smirnoff. She hasn't figured it out yet, potentially Marcus. That's not the vibe I'm getting, but I'm sure we'll find out towards the end of this book who that mole is, and I'm excited to see if it's someone who catches me off guard or if it's someone that I've seen all along. I have a theory. I don't think it's Marcus, but I have a theory on who it is. So I'll let you know if I was right or not, but I'm not going to tell you who I think. Gabby is, I don't know, I really liked her as a protagonist at the very beginning of the book, but she is getting, like I said, more and more ridiculous to me. For one thing, she won't tell anyone about Smirnoff's threats for her. I don't understand how the DOE is employing her and is training her and hasn't noticed that there are people clearly tailing Gabby and like stalking her family. Like, I just don't get that. That is a big plot hole that she won't tell anyone, that the DOE hasn't noticed anything. So I wonder if we'll see more about that. I don't know, like it just feels like as a plot device, it's trying a little bit too hard. It's carrying a lot of weight to it, and I feel like a little bit more than it should realistically, considering that there are a couple different outs that have clearly not been taken, if that makes sense. Alfred, hi. Giving me a hug. So that's bothering me a little bit. Gabby is validly crashing out because her kids have a lot more independence and freedom right now than she's used to, and she's trying to come to terms with that, but they're making decisions she's not necessarily agreeing with. Her grandma and her grandma's boyfriend are now living with her and kind of throwing everyone out of sync with each other. And so that's been hard, especially Bert, this boyfriend of her grandma's. She really does not like Bert. Not vibing with him at all. And, you know, the house is in shambles. It feels like schedule's in shambles. She's worried about these two competing like double agent type jobs and the risk to her life, and she's crashing out. I do really like the humor of this book and how this character is written. It is a very easy to read book and easy to listen to too, for the portion that I did on audio. And so it's been really fun. So even though I'm not 100% of a fan of Gabby herself, even if there's some ridiculousness and things I need to suspend my disbelief about, it's a really fun time and I'm really enjoying myself. Gabby and like the other characters are not inherently inept or anything. They just are not necessarily ones that I totally understand, but there's some ways that I can definitely get behind these characters. So I'm still enjoying myself. Though Gabby, I know that she has not worked in like almost 15 years, but she doesn't know how to use a USB key. She is totally incompetent with Excel, just to the point that it's kind of embarrassing and doesn't feel realistic that older millennial has no knowledge of how to use these things. She was like freaking out trying to get codes, I think is what she called them, but trying to get some sensitive information from her boss's like safe computer onto a USB key to then give a copy to her employers, both of them, you know, to share the wealth. She was asking her child like how to get files onto a USB key and then also how to get it onto a second USB key to copy it over. I don't know, it just felt really stupid. That was the only part that felt really inept and very unrealistic from a character standpoint. Put that behind us because we only have like 60 or 70 pages left of this book. We're getting really close to the end. So I'm really hoping I'm going to finish it tonight. I'm going to go get ready for my event later on. I'll be looking cute. I'm going to try this new lipstick because that will be really exciting to try out. I will say in general, Gabby's had some good character growth throughout her experience in this book, regardless of the suspension of disbelief that I've had to have in a book of this style. That's definitely more Bethany's style of book than my style of book, but I've enjoyed watching Gabby's growth and the way that she is taking charge of her safety and of what's going on with her kids and for this job and trying to do a good job at this job and kind of owning up to the commitment that she has made. I have been enjoying seeing that growth in her. Whoa, that's brighter than I thought. I wonder how it'll look on me. Oh. That is a spicier red than I anticipated. I am back. It is nighttime now. Went out and did a few things. This is the wear after about 5 hours. I just did like the one super quick coat. I even noticed in the car that I kind of messed up on my top lip. I don't wear lipstick very often. The color was way bright on me. I am liking it a little bit better now. I think shade-wise, it works well with my skin tone. It was just not the vibe I was expecting. Definitely more of a bright, definitely a spicy red, I think is the name of that shade. I will have to find outfits or makeup looks that I want to wear with that because I think that's a really fun goodie to have in this box. You can't see my whole outfit, but I tried to do like a purple and black. I had like black cat earrings, so I was like slightly witchy vibes. The event I was going to that I wanted to like put makeup on for and be, you know, fresh from a shower for was a witch's tea at Petty Fours and Pearls. It is a Lehigh yarn and tea shop, and they throw these tea parties that you can purchase a seat at, and they make these really delicious tea party type goodies, both treats as well as hors d'oeuvre type things. There's different teas to try. This was so fun. It was organized by a local fiber arts group, and so I joined in, made some new friends, and I'm really excited to have more people in my local community here in Utah. So that was really nice, and it was really fun, little spooky vibes. I had a couple pictures here, some delicious food, and it was such a treat to go. So I am home and ready to get reading this book. We'll see how much I get to when I read this late at night. I don't usually read a lot, so I'm gonna make some progress, and then worst case scenario is I finish it tomorrow. Okay, but I wanted to show you something really funny that I saw. So, optical illusion. I am pregnant from the front, especially in these dark clothes. You can't tell how pregnant I am. I am very pregnant, which is just like too funny to see. I carry very like outwards. And you'll notice my bathroom and my laundry room, also the same space as my closet. Kind of a weird little nook in our house, but we are using the space to the best of our ability. That's what happens living in an old house that's 150 years old. This is what I'm using as a pregnancy pillow in between my legs when I'm sleeping. So get to meet my little ice cream squishmallow buddy. Ooh, like a chartreuse with a little bit of red even. That will coordinate well with the last skein. Compartmentalize this, which is her tagline as a spy. opened all the packages and finished the book, let's finish off this book box video. So we are talking about Errands and Espionage by Sam Cheetah, and I had never heard of this book before I got it in this package. So that was really fun to be able to try out a book that, one, I probably wouldn't have picked up on my own anyway, and two, a book I haven't heard anything about. So I had zero expectations going into it. I had a lot of fun reading this book. This is a silly, goofy time following the main character Gabby as she is roped into being in a spy operation because she looks like a former spy that was killed on duty just the week before. This was really fun to be able to follow Gabby's journey. I liked her role as a mother and how she tried to balance that. This is not the only book in that kind of subgenre of like a silly, goofy detective, mystery, spy type of a story. Definitely reminiscent of Finley Donovan if you have read that series. Though it had a few different like notes to it compared to Finley Donovan. So I feel like you may like this more or less than Finley Donovan, depending on what specifically you like about Finley Donovan if you have read that series. I will say that my enjoyment and connection to Gabby as a character decreased pretty quickly. There were some inconsistencies with her characterization, I guess, that came to light further on in the book that I didn't like as much as I did with my first impression of her. I do feel like this book in general had a more focused plot and a more focused storyline than Finley Donovan's. Finley Donovan feels much more like Finley's running around trying to put out fires everywhere kind of thing, whereas Gabby Green in this book had a more focused objective because she was working for the CIA. And so it had a little bit of a different feel because of that. You still definitely need to suspend your disbelief a lot to read this book. But I think if you are picking this book up, then you kind of expect in this genre that that's what's going to have to happen in order for you to enjoy an amateur turned spy type of a story. Especially because this takes place over the course of like a week and a half in total. So from the very beginning of the story to her being roped in as a spy, getting a couple days training, and then working for a week. That whole thing happens in this book. So in some ways it was kind of a breakneck pace and not as realistic. I would just love an amateur sleuth or amateur spy story where the main character has a chance to get some real training and you see some growth in their training and their learning rather than just kind of haphazardly doing the best they can with a lot of amateur skills. I don't know if there's any books like that, but I think I would enjoy that more than something like this where you just have to trust that even though professionals who know what they're doing are put in danger in these situations, that our main character is doing just fine at figuring it out as they go, which is hard to believe, right? But again, suspend your disbelief, and this is a fun time. Other things I loved about this book, the main character's best friend, Justin, is so fun and adds so much flavor to the story. I really like how he served as kind of a foil to her character and helped her kind of reorient herself and figure out what she wanted in her goals. He was a great support for her, both in her home setting and while she was, transitioning to this big girl job kind of thing. And he also was the party planner that put together the mob boss themed party accidentally for the mafia. And so I really loved getting to see Justin's character and how he enhanced Gabby's character. I think the story would have been a lot more bland without him in it. I will say that in general, I feel like there's a couple of things that elevated this book, but for the most part, it was kind of bland. There's a romance in here, and while there's nothing inherently wrong with it, and they take things pretty slow, and it's only kind of hinted at, she does a really good job at setting her boundaries in not rushing things, but also acknowledging their feelings and how they want, their relationship to progress. There was nothing specifically amazing about her love interest other than he was apparently super hot. We didn't get to see a ton of his characterization that would make us believe that Gabby fell for him. I don't know. So it was very much in crush territory, though this book is classified as a romantic comedy on the back cover. There wasn't that much romance, honestly. And so While I think I'd be interested in reading another book in this series, I'm not keen on, dropping everything to start reading another book by this author or in this series. And I don't think I would purchase it. I would maybe try it out for my library and see if the growth of these characters and the progression of the plot lines and whatnot are something I enjoy. Because I'm just not entirely convinced. It was a fun time, but honestly, fairly forgettable. I do feel like the ending was very unrealistic and maybe made me want to rate this lower than the rest of the book, just because it kind of hammered home the point that you need to suspend your disbelief to read this book. And I would have liked the ending if it had more conclusion to it and tied things up more nicely rather than leaving it so open-ended for later books in the series. I'm sure that if you really like this book, that you would love the open ending and the potential for further books. But for me, it felt less genuine for what I was getting into when I started the story and less realistic. And again, I want it to be a little bit more realistic. It doesn't have to be completely realistic, but a little bit more realistic so I could maybe see myself in this character or in this situation. It wasn't quite as easy to connect myself with the character because there was so much suspension of disbelief I had to engage in. So all that to say, I rated this a 3-star book. It was fun. I had a good time reading it. I'm glad I could get it from my library so I could power through probably about half of this book, honestly, so that I could get through with this video. I enjoyed it. I had fun, but it didn't give me anything superbly special. And this is not, in general, my favorite type of genre, but if you need a good palate cleanser for an amateur turned spy type of a story, then this would be a good one for you. Let's talk about the things that were included in this goodie box that we opened throughout reading it. So this is a tiffin container. This is so cute. And actually, I love that this yarn kind of matches that like chartreuse brownie color on the tiffin. So I have not owned a tiffin before. I'm really excited to be able to use this. And while I don't feel like these would be good for me and taking lunch to work because I work 12-hour shifts and need to put things in the fridge and then need to heat it up, I'd have to move things onto a plate. I've seen people use tiffins for packing leftovers like from their parents' house to take home, or from going out to eat and putting leftovers in here before putting it somewhere a little bit more permanent. And I know that like if you are heating things up on a plate at home, then this would be a good container to store things in. This is hand wash only, so less ideal, but I will hand wash dishes if I have to. And they are just so cute that I think this would be really fun to try. Maybe for like packing a lunch on like a picnic or something, like put a sandwich in the bottom and, some fruit and chips, whatever. I think I can definitely get some use out of this, though this isn't the kind of thing I'm going to use every single day of my life, but I'm excited to put it to use. We also opened this really good smelling little tiny orange candle that's shaped like a little mandarin orange. Even has a little navel and everything. It's really cute. Smells really good and fresh. I will probably use this as regular decor in the summertime, springtime, but I don't necessarily want to burn it. Though I wonder how it would smell burned. It might smell really good, but it just is too cute. And since it doesn't have like a case or anything for it, I think this will do just fine as like a little decor item. We also got this lipstick, this liquid lipstick from U-Star. And the color is spicy red, though I will say that this color looks a lot darker and more purple, more cool tinged than the actual color. Let's open it up and show you again, just in better lighting. Already just holding those next to each other, very different shades. I'm okay with that. Definitely a much brighter lipstick than I'm used to, though it's more warm toned than this package makes it look like. And so it suits my skin tone better, which is good. So we'll see how much use I get out of it. I wasn't sad about the wear or what it looked like. I put it on in a super huge hurry, didn't take care with it, and I still felt like I liked how it looked. So imagine if I have a better mirror situation and have more time to do my makeup properly, how much I would like this. So this will be fun to try. I really don't buy lip stains or lipsticks hardly ever. So getting one in a package like this is like a good motivation to try something new and to experiment a little bit with my makeup. But I think it's important to note that with mystery boxes like this, where you don't know what you're getting in the box from a yarn dyer, as they curate a collection of items, that you might get things you don't want. So you might need to be okay finding homes for things that come in these boxes that you don't want to use, and finding uses for things, especially because I've been accumulating a lot of boxes and I have a few more on deck that I want to film videos for. You just sometimes get things that you don't know how to use. So you need to be a little creative in like rehoming things, and also being okay with you're probably not gonna 100% love everything that you get. I've gotten some tea previously in one of these Woolberry book boxes that I don't drink, and so I was able to share it with my coworkers. Went to a good home. But you need to be flexible with what comes in a package like this, and maybe that means that mystery boxes like this aren't for you, because if you don't know the book, you don't know the goodies in the package, you don't even know if you're gonna like the yarn color. Everything is totally up in the air, and sometimes surprises like that or mysteries like that are not a good fit for you. So just knowing what works for you. And I hope that these videos kind of show you the types of items that Bethany's including, and just sharing the experience. Maybe you'll find a small business item that you really want to support and purchase yourself, or a book that you're interested in, or you're learning about this dyer that you haven't heard of before, or maybe you're living vicariously through me because you aren't comfortable purchasing mystery boxes like this and getting things in the package that you might not end up using. All right, our final note, probably my favorite thing in this package actually, is the colorway called Compartmentalize This, which is so funny. That was Gabby's like catchphrase, I guess, just trying to separate out like her stress from her family and her stress from her spy job, and you know, just trying to learn how to compartmentalize and focus in on what she had to do despite all of the like internal chaos going on and the stress going on. And so when she was fighting the bad guys at the end, she said that compartmentalize this, which I think is so funny. And I'm not necessarily like a murky yellow green or like a chartreuse type of a person, but I actually really like this colorway. Surprisingly so. Like I love this version of it. There's definitely some darker tones up there. I like that there's like this little orangey speckle bit in a couple spots. I can't tell if it's like orange or red, but I actually think that this might go well with the skein from the last box I opened, which was quite a while ago. It was the December box last year, but that was like a red color. And so I am excited to see what other colors are in these boxes, and if maybe all of these colorways are gonna coordinate together well so that I can make a blanket or shawl or something with them. I'm excited because that's kind of what I was leaning towards, but I do have to see what other yarns are in these boxes to see what I want to make with them. Very happy about that. Thank you so much for watching this book box and for just being here on my channel and enjoying these cozy things with me as I share all things yarn and books with you. I love doing these book box videos and sharing a combination of my two loves. And I hope that you enjoyed learning about this book. Let me know if you've read it before or if you want to read it after my review. I think this is a really fun palette cleanser type of a story that would be really good for certain people. When I'm looking for a palette cleanser, I'm looking for something a little bit different for like my perfect easy book to read, but I still had a lot of fun reading this, and I had a lot of fun sharing it with you as well. Stay tuned for more book box videos, both from Woolberry Fiber Co. as well as Yarnacious Fibers, and maybe other yarn companies too if I get wind of them. So if you like this type of content and want to see more from me about all things books, all things yarn, all things book and yarn boxes, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification down below to be notified every time I post a new video, because I'm really trying hard to catch up before I have this baby, because I am 7 months pregnant now, and I would love to get through some of these book boxes that I have stashed up that I didn't get to over the summer when I was not feeling my best. And so yeah, just trying to play a little catch up. Lots of awesome videos that I'm really excited about coming soon from me. So make sure to keep an eye out on what I'm working on, both here on YouTube and on my Instagram at Crochet Creations. Until next time, happy reading and happy making. Bye!